Good afternoon and welcome back to Matt and Dave. I'm Matt Ricker,
And I'm Dave Horvath.
and now beginning our second segment here on this hot September Thursday. We'll be talking about national and campus sports. And Dave, over to you.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome. So we're gonna start with a little bit of school sports. Uh, Volleyball lost to St. John's in straight sets, 25-17, 25-21, and 25-14 on Tuesday, September 1st. That's about it for right now with upcoming sports this week. Soccer is playing right now against the University of Hartford as we speak. Um, we have a bunch of upcoming sports. Starting tomorrow, Friday, September 4th, golf will be having an invitational that will take place on Friday and Saturday. The women's cross country and track and men's cross country and track will be playing at Marist on Saturday, September 5th at 8 and 8:30 a.m. respectively. Um, Volleyball will be back in action as they travel to the Black Knights Invitational at Army that will take place Saturday and Sunday, where they will play Army at 11, Cornell at 5, and will play Will and Mary at 11 in the morning on Sunday. Now, men's water polo will be traveling to the Navy Open, which it will take place on Saturday and Sunday, September 5th and 6th, and will play Johns Hopkins at 12, Princeton at 6:30, and St. Mac Sunday at 9:15 in the morning, and Penn State Breathend at 1 p.m. Men's soccer team is traveling to play against Duke University Saturday at 7 p.m. And the women's soccer will be in action yet again Sunday at home versus Townsend at 2 p.m. So let's go out, make sure we go out there and support our fellow Gales and, take home some championships.
Yeah, and actually, going back to our campus news, how could I forget this? We'd like to congratulate the four quadruplets that
Oh, yes, completely forgot about that.
that are from Miami in the class of 2019 playing water polo.
That's a really cool thing how you got not one, not two, not three, but four siblings, and they both play. That's amazing. That's pretty awesome. Something you don't really hear about ever.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, it's we congratulate them and we wish them all the best and hope to see you guys around campus if you're listening.
Hopefully. Now moving on to professional sports. Baseball's winding down. We're getting to the crunch time of the season, and the baseball races are not as close as people were hoping. You really look in the American League. It's Kansas City's up by 12 games on Minnesota with about 30 games left. They got that pretty much all wrapped up. I'd say in the American League East, though, Toronto took first place in the Yankees right now by a game and a half. So listen, that's a good race right now. Hopefully it comes down to the end, but I know we got a lot of Yankee fans out there, so for them, let's go Yankees, I guess. In the American League West, Houston, has done strong all year, but the Texas is hot lately, and they're only 2 games out, surprisingly. And right now, according to ESPN, they have a 55% chance of making the playoffs, which only a little bit ago they had about a 3% chance. So you gotta wonder, Josh Hamilton going back to his faithful Texas home, is that only got the team on a roll? The National League doesn't look very close to like that. The closest deficit between first and second in the National League is 6 games. So it's a lot higher. It's not impossible to climb over that mountain, but it's a lot more difficult when you're back by 6 games than a game and a half. The Mets, surprise, surprise, the Mets are leading the Washington Nationals by 6.5 games. Who would have thought that? I know I certainly didn't. St. Louis Cardinals playing as the best team in baseball yet again. Is up by 6 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Even though Pittsburgh's playing, they're fantastic this year. And any other division, Pittsburgh would be leading by 4+ games. The Dodgers are leading my favorite, San Francisco Giants, by 6.5 games, and it isn't looking good for them. The Dodgers right now are being led by aces Zach Greinke and Clayton Kershaw. Now moving on to the wild card. Now that they're doing 2 wild card teams, they've started doing that. It's a pretty tight race in the American League, with the Yankees having the first spot and Texas having the second as of right now. But watch out, Minnesota. They're only a game and a half back. With the Angels, only 3.5 back. And it's pretty close. You have 4 teams that are in the mix for the second wild card spot right now for the American League. Moving on to the National League, it's a different story yet again. With the way Pittsburgh's playing this year, playing as one of the best teams in baseball, they just happen to have the best team in baseball in their league, the Cardinals. Pittsburgh has a hefty lead over even the Chicago Cubs. Oh, watch out, here come the Cubs. Who would have ever thought I'd be saying that? The Cubs. Wow. But the Cubs have the second wild card space, and they're up by 6.5 games over the San Francisco Giants, and they're up by 8 games over Washington. Like I said earlier, not impossible to overcome, but it's a lot harder to overcome 2 very hot teams with a very minimal amount of games left. Now moving on to college sports, we're only about a little over a week away from football beginning. Hey, everyone's excited for that. But today marks a big day, in my own opinion. Today is the start of college football. Who isn't excited for college football, man? It's back. Everyone loved it last year. They loved the playoff system, and everyone just wants more. And they were talking about, let's make it 8 teams now. And the NCAA was like, whoa, we just made it 4. Calm down. We're going to give you 8. Just wait a couple of years. And a lot of big teams are in action. Starting tonight, you got Georgia Tech, number 16 in the nation, playing against Alcorn State at 7:30 on ESPN3. I think Georgia Tech should take that game pretty easily. Then tonight, too, you have Heisman candidate favorite Trayvon Boykin in the number 2 TCU Horned Frogs playing against the Minnesota Golden Gophers on ESPN at 9 o'clock. Also tonight you have number 22 Arizona playing against University of Texas San Antonio, and tomorrow Michigan State Michigan versus West Michigan on ESPNU. Baylor number 4 playing against SMU at 7 o'clock. Washington playing against number 23 Boise State. Watch out the Broncos at 10 o'clock. And on Saturday, got a lot of big games going on. Some headlining. You have Florida State playing against Texas State. Not much of a matchup there. University of Monroe playing against Georgia. Number 9, not really much of a game there. University of Tennessee at Martin versus number 17 Ole Miss. Okay, not much of a game there. Stanford against Northwestern. Possibly maybe get a little entertainment in the beginning of the game. Wofford versus number 12 Clemson. Not much of a game still. UTEP versus number 18 Arkansas. They should handle them pretty easily. Louisville is playing at number 6 Auburn. So I'm excited to see what Gus Malzahn's going to do this year at Auburn. It only amazes me every year. You have University of Virginia playing against UCLA. And you have Missouri playing against Southeastern Missouri. Tennessee playing against Bowling Green. Arizona State playing against an unranked Texas A&M. Surprising, the last couple of years they've always been in the top 25. You have number 19 Oklahoma playing against Akron. You have number 14 LSU playing against McNeese State. Not much of a game there. One game I'm looking at is Texas versus number 7 Notre Dame. Let's see what Notre Dame can do this year. Kind of a down year last year. Let's see if Brian Kelly can give them some magic and get them into the Final Four, into the playoffs.
I'm sure you've seen that movie Rudy.
Oh yeah, who hasn't seen Rudy?
I love that movie, and University of Michigan is always my favorite school to keep track of.
Favorite school? Well, you gotta watch out. University of Michigan. You got John Harbaugh there. Let's see how he does. He's back in his hometown, back with his alma mater. We'll have to see where he takes them. I think people are going to expect him to get them into top shape after with no really. One off season, not even a full off season, and I think people are going to have to give him some time to let him get his recruits there, because he will build the system and they will be successful in the future. Big game coming up on Saturday night. Not many top 25 matchups this early in the season, but we starting off with number 20 Wisconsin playing against the number 3 team University of Alabama at 8 o'clock on ABC. That's going to be a great one. Who knows? Alabama, Nick Saban, it's been a couple years since they won a national championship. People are starting to wonder, does Saban have it? He's done this before where he's won championships, been at the top, and the ceiling, once he hits the wins a couple times, the ceiling, like he hit the ceiling, he just happens to start to fall off. Let's have to see what happens. And then
Alabama.
Go Alabama, yes. And I guess the nightcap will end off with Eastern Washington playing against number 7 Oregon. Always fun to watch Oregon play their fast tempo offense. And number 8 USC playing against Arkansas State which that shouldn't be much of a game. And then, yes, folks, Monday night, the number one team in the nation, Ohio State Buckeyes, the reigning national champions, playing against the University of Virginia Tech at 8 o'clock on ESPN. And I'm really interested to see how Mr. Urban Meyer approaches with his quarterback situation, and is he going to just keep one guy in, or is he going to kind of surprise us all and switch us? And I'd like to see how MVP Ezekiel Elliott comes back now after putting up a astonishing performance in the national championship game against the University of Oregon. But Matt, any comments?
There's also another sports headline. This is going back a few months, but Mariano Rivera III was drafted to the Washington
Yes, he was in
Nationals.
fifth round. Was it? I'm pretty sure it was fifth round. Not a bad selection at all.
Mariano Rivera III is a member of the class of 2015. He graduated this past spring, and we're very excited to see. He played baseball for here at Iona for a few years.
Oh yeah, and had an extremely successful senior season too. So that always helps when it comes to draft day.
Yeah, so go Gales, go Washington Nationals. We're excited to see how far he goes.
Hopefully he makes it pro. Just follows the footsteps of his father.
Yeah, I met Mariano Rivera, his father, before, and he's just an awesome guy. He really takes the time to talk to you about everything, and he also just renovated a church here in New Rochelle next to the police station, about a quarter mile down the road, and he renovated that and opened it up to the community for those who wanted to go. So that's another example of how he gives back to the community.
Yeah, it's real nice to see that. It's definitely nice to see when an athlete at his stature gives back and really cares for the people that support him.
Do you have any other sports headlines?
No, not really. Next week will be a lot bigger when football's right on the corner, because who doesn't love football?
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after these messages.